Yes guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. I am Adam McKola and this is 10 things Erik Ten Hag must fix at Manchester United. It's been confirmed he is the next permanent Manchester United manager, and of course he's got a huge summer. In fact, a huge next couple transfer windows ahead of him, because he's got to shape this Manchester United team into his image and hopefully get us moving in the right direction. And in this video, I'll tell you 10 things that I think he's got to fix at the club. Now remember, there's about 100 things that need fixed at Manchester United, and there's some things that I will miss out. So of course, get your comments in the comments below with your ideas for things that he needs to fix at the club. Of course, make sure you're subscribing, liking, commenting, sharing, and all that stuff. And as we say, we've got to start by saying it all relies on the board and the people upstairs getting things right. Because if they don't back him properly, if they don't give him the foundations for success, then just like the previous managers that have gone before him, he's not going to do very well, is he? And he needs a little bit of help from them. Come on, he does. Now, we've got 10 things to go through right here, and we're going to go through them right now. So, get your stuff in the comments, and let's get stuck in. In at number 1, I'm going for that number 6 position. Now, I don't mean Paul Pogba's shirt. We'll talk about that later. I mean that holding midfield position. We have had issues with that for an awfully long time. Nemanja Matic is leaving this summer. Now, when we signed Nemanja Matic under Jose Mourinho, it was already at that point that he was a little bit old, you know what I mean? There was only a few more years left in him, yet he's still the only player that can naturally play that role at the club at the minute. And Manchester United need to address that. There's been a lot of talk about many different players potentially joining the club. You've heard about De Ligt, you've heard about Tchouaméni, you've heard about loads of different players. And Manchester United need to get this sorted. This has to be one of the first things on the list in the summer transfer window. Of course, we've got people like James Garner coming through the ranks as well, but we need to get that spot sorted. It's a vital spot. When you look at other teams around us, when you look at teams that we want to be getting close to, you look at Liverpool and the likes of Fabinho that they have in the midfield, Thiago, etc. And you look at Manchester City and the likes of Fernandinho that they've had over the years. I know he's potentially moving in the summer, but they'll go out and replace him correctly. You know, look at Chelsea. I know Kante's, you know, come under fire this season, but he's been integral for them. Jorginho been integral for them. Manchester United need a player that fits what Erik Ten Hag wants to do, but also is a proper number 6. We need one ASAP. In at number 2, I am going for that captaincy issue. The captaincy issue needs to be sorted at Manchester United. We need a new captain. Whether Harry Maguire stays or not, you know, I think he could benefit from not being Manchester United captain. It seems to have weighed on his shoulders massively, and I think we need a captain to move us forward, to get the dressing room united. The dressing room is clearly not united now. A lot of these players will move on and the dressing room will change a lot over the next couple of next year or so, but we do need a new captain, that is for sure, and Erik Ten Hag needs to come in and address that ASAP. In at number 3, the defence needs sorted. When you look at that defence, yeah, no matter who we play in there, it's a shambles. Whether it's Lindelof, Varane, Telles and Dalot, shambles. Whether it's Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire and Bailly, shambles. We need to sort out that defence. As a unit, we need the right players. Fullbacks, do we need a whole set of new fullbacks? Do we need that? We kind of thought Luke Shaw was back to being one of the best about. He's suffered in a massive drop of form. You know, Aaron Wan-Bissaka looking like he'll need to be replaced under what Erik Ten Hag wants to do. And when you look at the team and the way his teams play, you can't see Aaron Wan-Bissaka sticking around long. Are Dalot and Telles good enough? Who knows? You know, when you look at the defence, is it only Varane that is salvageable in all of that? We need to sort out the defence ASAP. In at number 4, do we stick or twist with David De Gea? Again, it's linked to the defence, isn't it? But as good as David De Gea has been this season, he's been incredible for Manchester United over the years. You know, he might be player of the year this year, who knows? But he's been fantastic for the club. But we know modern day managers want goalkeepers that do different things. And Erik Ten Hag might want a goalkeeper that is better with the ball at his feet, better bringing it out, better passing the ball, etc. Now, it may not be something that he comes in and addresses immediately, and there's talk about David De Gea potentially signing a new contract at Manchester United. But I think eventually that may be an area which he looks at improving and changing things around. Although, as I said, it might not be this transfer window. So does he stick or twist with David De Gea? That's one issue he has to resolve. In at number 5, I've gone with Marcus Rashford. Now, before this season, we saw Marcus Rashford play through injury, back injuries, shoulder injuries. You know, he had all sorts of injuries. He got 20 goals plus back-to-back seasons, and we thought we had a player that once he got rid of his injuries, he was going to be flying and he was going to be scoring goals for fun. I predicted him to maybe, if he could, you know, see the rest of his career out at United, potentially take Wayne Rooney's record, because he was going on that kind of, you know, rise, wasn't he? Now, he's had a bad season this season, an awful season. And last season, when performances weren't there, he was getting the goals. This season, he's not getting neither. Now, we need to sort out Marcus Rashford. I do think he's suffered, like many players at Manchester United, have suffered from a lack of quality coaching. And I'm excited to see Marcus Rashford under Erik Ten Hag. I really am. You've seen what he's done with wide players at Ajax. When you look at the likes of Hakim Ziyech leaves and he replaces him with other talented players, and he develops them into quality players that the whole host of European clubs want. I'm hoping he can work his magic on Marcus Rashford, because Marcus Rashford, for me, let me put my teeth in, is vital cog to Manchester United's future. And if we can get him right, and he's not one of these players that falls by the wayside and we waste their talent, then we've got a player on our hands. In at number 6, he has to sort out that strike force. Like we've just mentioned, Marcus Rashford plays on the left of that, or the right, whatever. You know, Jadon Sancho has been one of our best players and he'll be getting his spot first. Rashford has a fight in his hand. But we need to sort out this strike force. Edinson Cavani's off. No Mason Greenwood. We don't know what's going to happen with Anthony Martial. He probably leaves. Like we say, Marcus Rashford's out of form, so he needs to fix that issue. And Cristiano Ronaldo, whether he stays or goes this summer, if he stays, it's his last season. We can't rely on, you know, a man of his age to be going for the next couple of years. So we need to sort out that position. We've heard of links with the likes of Darwin Núñez and other players, and that's a position that Erik Ten Hag needs to sort out. Again, you know, when you look at these positions, you know, DM, that defensive midfield, a proper number 6, a striker. When you get these players right, or if he gets these players right and he gets the players that he wants, those are key positions, and you're already changing the image of your team massively. So the strike force is an area that he has to work on. He has to get right, and he has to make a lot of changes. Who's going to stay? Who's going to go? The only ones you can rely on sticking around for the next couple of years are probably Sancho and Rashford. Cristiano Ronaldo going to be here next season. How does he handle that? Hopefully him and Ronaldo get on, because if they get on, that would be a vital piece to the dressing room, wouldn't it? But we've seen Erik Ten Hag, and if people aren't on the same page as him and on the same page as the rest of the team, they're going to get cut short, and that's what Manchester United need to be doing. In at number 7, integrate academy stars. Now, we've got a lot of players that are coming through and are just, you know, nearly on that position of being ready for the first team. When you're looking at the likes of Hannibal Mejbri, James Garner, Ethan Laird, those are players that could potentially form part of this first team squad next season, and he needs to integrate them. Then you look at the ones that are coming through a little bit further behind, the likes of Zidane Iqbal, the likes of Charlie McNeil, all those Shola Sharatire, etc. Those players are coming through as well, and those are the next wave. So he needs to integrate academy stars into the Manchester United squad and into the Manchester United team. We've seen him do that at Ajax. When they've sold players, they've replaced them with players coming through. They've replaced them with signings as well. But he has integrated Ajax's academy stars. Ajax have a fantastic academy. Manchester United have a lot of talent in our academy at the moment. We need to make the most of it. In at number 8, it's been spoken about a lot. We've heard Paul Scholes mention his conversations with Jesse Lingard. We need to address this dressing room spirit. We need to get everyone on the same page. And if that means weeding out those players that aren't on it, those players that aren't prepared to roll up their sleeves and fight for the cause, then Manchester United need to get them out of the dressing room. We need to get this dressing room moving in the right direction. When you're looking at our rivals, they're all on the same page. They're all, you know, singing from the same hymn sheet. Manchester United haven't been for a long time. You look at us, even after Ole Gunnar Solskjaer went with Ralf Rangnick coming in, even if you don't like the manager yet, or you don't like what's going on at the club, you had something to fight for. Champions League football for next season, the Champions League, domestic cups, and we didn't put up anything. There's a clear issues within this dressing room. Players that are about to leave the club, players that want to leave the club, players that aren't good enough to be here, players that are out of their depth. He needs to address all of that, and he needs to get this dressing room united. Excuse the pun, I've said that so much today, but but it's true. We need to be one in that dressing room, because we're not. In at number 9, as I briefly mentioned there's a lot of players at the moment that are definitely leaving. When you look at Matic, Pogba, Mata, Lingard, you know, all those kind of players are definitely leaving. Phil Jones, Eric Bailly probably, Anthony Martial possibly. There's a lot of players that are on their way out, could be on their way out. Aaron Wan-Bissaka has been linked with a move away. You know, there's Alex Tellez has been linked. There's so many players that are possibly going, either not good enough, no contract, Deadwood. We need to replace them, bring signings in. Now, as I said at the start of the video, he needs the backing of the board to do this. He needs, you know, the academy players coming through, so he needs the support of the full club and the full, you know, system and the structure in place. But we need to get rid of some of this Deadwood and start replacing them. We've had a lot of problems over the years where we kind of start doing it and then we fall back. We kind of start doing it and then we fall back. And we're in that position again. Signing the likes of Edinson Cavani isn't going to help that situation either. You know what I mean? Giving new contracts to players like Phil Jones when he clearly doesn't have a future isn't going to help that. We need to change those things. Now, in at number 10, I briefly mentioned it earlier, but we need to change this midfield. Like we said, Pogba's leaving, Mata's leaving, Lingard's leaving. You know, McTominay isn't good enough. Fred, good squad player. I think I mentioned Matic is leaving. We got all these players on their way out. Bruno Fernandes, I think, is in dire need of being coached into a good system so that he can showcase his skills, because at the moment we're just seeing a player that's just running around frustrated. We need to sort out this midfield area. Like I said, we've been linked with a whole host of number 6s, number 8s. Let's get 1 or 2 signings in. Let's integrate the likes of James Garner, Hannibal Mejbri, etc. And let's change the face of this Manchester United team. The engine room is so important. We need players that can play football. We need players that can press. We need players that are good under intensity and under pressure. And we need to change it. It's as simple as that. The midfield's important. The defence is important. I've kind of mentioned all those places amongst a whole other bunch of things. But those are 10 things that Erik Ten Hag needs to fix at Manchester United. There's so much that he needs to fix. But one thing is for sure, beneath all the, you know, disappointment at this season, and I just want this season to end, I'm excited to see what Erik Ten Hag can do at Manchester United. Let us know your thoughts. Get your comments in the comments below. Make sure you're liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing. Until next time, I've been Adam McKola. I'm out of here.